So this is the follow-up to last year, 2024's huge hit, Wicked. Part 2, this is the second half of the musical, starring, of course, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande is our leads. The first film finishes with Elphaba embracing her witch powers and being exiled from the capital of Oz and area. It's kind of unclear what happens. Ariana Grande and company go to work for the Oz government. I think it's actually a little unclear, and it's unclear as it goes into as it goes into the second film. It's not any more clear. We have a time jump of about 5 years, and Elphaba is still exiled, and she's fighting to free the animal still and expose the wizard for his lies. We catch up with Glinda and Fiyero, who again are working for the Oz government. In some capacity, it's not real clear. She's just kind of a figurehead. Glinda is. She's supposed to be charming and happy. The wizard is still kind of behind the scenes. Madame Morrible, played by Michelle Yeoh, is also trying to still oppress the animals. It's again, narratively, this is a whole mess, but it almost doesn't matter. That's not where you're here. You're not here for the political intricacies of Oz. You are here for songs and dance and a spectacular show with spectacular leads, and that is what we get. And there's lots to talk about here. A lot of things work, some don't. Zach, what do you think?
So I think it's important to explain before we get too far into this where we're coming from on Wicked. I had not seen the musical. I hadn't read the books. I'd seen Wizard of Oz. I saw the first movie last year when it came out in theaters and was generally warm on it. I feel like a lot of people were really harsh. They said the color's terrible and the lighting's awful and it's I don't know, it's messy. And like, I hear all that. It's too long. It shouldn't be 2 parts. Totally. But ultimately, like Andy said, I'm not here for the politics. I'm not here for the complicated. I'm here to have a great time and eat my popcorn and listen to Ariana Grande belt it and listen to Cynthia Erivo get after it and like, solid. Had a fine time with Wicked Part 1. But then Wicked Part 2 starts coming out this year, and people start saying Wicked Part 2 has no good songs, and Wicked Part 2 is complicated and messy. And I was like, what do you mean? And let me tell you, like, there's a lot of truth to a lot of that, I think. Like Wicked Part 2, I don't think is as strong as Wicked Part 1. I think the songs aren't as good. I think it is overly complicated. You know, the original play is, 2.5 hours? The 2 films combined are like 4.5. So you got to add a lot in there. And like, I don't know if what's added here is enhancing and helping. I know each girl gets their own new song. They each get a new original one. They had like the original writer, I think, come back and pen those. But like, as somebody who hasn't seen the original, that doesn't mean a lot to me. It just feels bloated and it's got problems and it just gets chunky. Let's get into it. We should get into it. What did you think of it?
So it's definitely an experience movie. I heard on a podcast, like, it's not good, but it's fun. Like, it's fun to go, like, especially if like your kids or your friends are into it, you're going to see your favorite characters. You're going to be songs. You're back in Oz. So it's fun. It just narratively, like, really doesn't make any sense if you think about it for more than 5 seconds. It's just unclear what our characters are doing. Like, I know Elphaba is trying to free the animals, but it's like, how, like, what is it? It reminded me of a lot of political movements that don't really have a lot of direction or like what actionable steps. And same thing with the I was like, I don't know who I don't know who the antagonist is. Is it Madame Morrible? Is it the wizard? Is it Glinda because she's on that side now? It's but again, your 6-year-old isn't going to care about any of that. We do get extra songs. Both Glinda and Elphaba get their own solo song, like Zach said. So it's just kind of, there's these set pieces, and they kind of work individually. They just don't all work together. But we have these beats of like, these are our good guys. Here's the bad guy. We have a wedding between Fiyero and Glinda. That's a big event where lots of things are going to happen. But our characters are kind of spread apart throughout the whole movie. In the first one, they're all in school, and so they all interact a lot. In this one, they're all kind of spread out throughout Oz, and so you kind of have to force. It's like Game of Thrones. You had to force reasons for them to be together. But it kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So if you're there for the songs and all that, I think you'll probably have a better experience than if you're trying to like figure out the plot.
Yeah, let's talk performances. You said right at the top, like in the first film, our characters are mostly together. Everybody's like at school and growing together. And so they're forced to kind of bounce off each other, and that's how they develop a friendship and grow, especially Elphaba and Glinda, Erivo and Grande's characters, who have this like beautiful blooming friendship over the course of the first film. And like it genuinely is a pain that this movie opens and they're not hanging out. You're like it's like this big like empty spot in the movie, because you get a little bit of Glinda like at the palace doing politics stuff, I guess. Yeah, doing like Game of Thrones. Like, I got to get one over on Madame Morrible, and I got to go talk to the wizard and and I got to convince Fiero. Like, it's like this coercion stuff. And meanwhile, Elphaba is like poverty Batman. She's like swinging on munchkins, working on the yellow brick road, and like she's got gadgets and shit, and like a tripwire. She like throws at him and a smoke bomb, and she's flying in, and like she flees back to her like hovel, living in a tree doing magic. And it's odd, and it's oddly placed, because there's this like jump in time, but then it starts to get together and get on track, and really like finds its way. I said we should talk about characters in here. I'm just talking about plot. It really does find its way, I think, in Act 2. It starts to slot into a lot of familiar spaces. You start to get a bit more of the Wizard of Oz kind of creeping into the movie without giving too much away. But then like Act 3 has to clumsily tie all of these big narrative threads back into where the Wizard of Oz goes, and like it hurts this big runtime and this big blockbuster and this big epic. It reminds me of Game of Thrones in the way that like David Benioff and DB Weiss had made 8 seasons of that show, and then it had to end the way George R. R. Martin wrote it years ago. So everything has to tie back into this like squeeze into a mold, get it back to where it's supposed to go, and it hurts it. It doesn't work, and you leave characters like out at the end of the movie. People are confused. Their motivations are messy.
We see Bowen Yang like twice in Act 1. Never comes back in that.
Shame.
A little bit.
Shame.
Yeah. So somehow, and the person that wins the Game of Thrones in Oz, it's just like, I'm not sure how this happened. I'm not sure how like the winner won. And there's also a weird messaging of like, well, someone has to be the bad guy, so the good guys can be the good guys. So it's okay to have a scapegoat. And I'm like, what are we telling people with this? And if you don't know, the original novel by Greg McGuire is a very political thing. Like I said, it's examining like violence. Like Elphaba is a terrorist; she literally blows up a building, but then like Oz, it has this Gestapo like police that kills people. Like Fiero dies in like the first third of the book. He's beaten to death. It's very violent. That's why people are like, don't get your kids the book. It's not that kind of book. The musical and the film are not concerned with any of that, any larger kind of political or philosophical things. It's more, unfortunately, it's supposed to be more about their friendship, and they're just not together very much. Like, you don't have enough scenes of Elphaba and Glinda together, fighting, bickering, making up, being friends, and like, they do have really touching scenes eventually, but just kind of doesn't really feel earned, and it's just like, what are we doing? And again, the Wizard of Oz stuff is real odd. I know from the novel, it references like Dorothy and stuff very loosely, but it's not really supposed to be like intertwined in the same universe. It's supposed to be like, the Wizard of Oz and characters. Imagine this other story in that world, but the movie tries to tie it in directly, and it's real clumsy.
Yeah. Chu overcommits on the Wizard of Oz stuff. He said in the past that he's a big fan of the original film. Makes sense. He's doing this one, sure. But like, it seems like he really wanted to leave a mark on it and like leave a legacy on it. And I think it kind of hurts Wicked. Like, I think this is its own thing, and it can be its own thing, and it doesn't have to exist under the weight of the original film, and trying to like get around it by like shooting Dorothy in silhouette, and like, the shoes are silver and not ruby. It's just clunky, like, and it just kind of hurts it. And it's like, you didn't need this stuff. It's probably in the play, right, which comes from the book and it's derivative, and I see all that, but it just ends up like opening up a lot of avenues for questions from the audience, like, why can't the animals talk anymore, and like, Why who is the bad guy exactly, like, and what exactly is Madame Morrible's motivation? Like, all that stuff gets kind of lost in the sauce because you're not really swept up in the adventure like you are in part one when they're like going to school and figuring it out. Like, I don't know, like, it's just part one feels so much more open-ended. The star performances, really quick. I don't think anybody was surprised. This was shot back to back with part one, so much like part one, Erivo and Grande are tremendous. They are both fantastic. I have no complaints about either of them. Jonathan Bailey's a lot of fun back as Fiyero doing his thing. We've got Ethan Slater, Broadway SpongeBob as Buck. We've got Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible. Jeff Goldblum as the kooky wizard, who kind of fits. Really, I think out of place a little bit of Michelle Yeoh still, right? She just kind of can't sing, which is a problem, but she doesn't have a lot of singing in part two, which is good. Glinda and Erivo get their own new tracks. Those are sick. What do you think? Performances?
Ethan Slater has a couple of great speeches. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to give anything away about his character, but he kind of has like a little bit of a Shakespeare moment. Give it a real great speech. There's been a lot of awards talk about this, and I'm curious to see how it will go because I actually felt like the performances were good, but they also just didn't have a lot of time. Again, there's so many people in the movie, and they're not together, so you're always just jumping from person to person. I kind of felt like we didn't get enough Glinda or enough Elphaba. So it's interesting to see what the Academy will think about it, if they'll think of both of these movies as one large performance or what. So it'll be interesting. Also, Coleman Domingo is the Cowardly Lion. I think he has a whole 2 lines in the film.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, dude. Stunt casting. Yeah. Like, that could have been anybody, honestly. Like, it's just, you just pick Coleman Domingo because you knew he'd stunt on the red carpet, which he always does. Yeah. Awards, I think, production design, right? Costume design, makeup and hairstyling. You're probably looking at some obvious noms. Wicked Part 1 won for editing, which is nuts. Like, I didn't know that doing research for this. And I don't think this would get that, but I think Ariana Grande's probably got a real shot at Best Supporting Actress this year because the Supporting Actress category is a little, I don't want to say thin, but kind of broad. Like, meanwhile, like, Cynthia Erivo at Best Actress might get a nom, but like, I don't think she's winning, dude. Like, it's the Best Actress this year is insane. You got Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Emma Stone for Begonia, which is a weird one. Tiana Taylor, right? Like, yeah, dude, One Battle. I don't know. I guess Chase Infinity would be best actor. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how much gas it's got at awards, but regarding the music, I know I already said it. I don't think it's as good as the first. I don't. Like, the first one has like 5 songs I can hum off the top of my head. Like, I only saw that movie once in theaters. It's just immediately memorable. Part 2's got like 2, right? Like, No Good Deed Goes Unpunished, and the last one, Because I Knew You. Like, those are pretty good. Otherwise, like, I don't know. How about you? You're a music man, Andy. What'd you think?
So after the first one came out, and I was not a fan of the original musical. It was just like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever back in 2003, and I couldn't stand it. I really fell in love with the soundtrack of the first film after it came out, after seeing it. Played it on loop for the longest time. I will not be adding the soundtrack to our big film playlist. It's fine. It just doesn't have the sauce. It's also recycling a ton of the music from the first film, or the first half of the musical as well. So you're not really getting a lot of things that are new. So it was just kind of fine.
Yeah. Any other thoughts for recommendations? I feel like people know what we're going to say about it, but
real quick, I wanted to mention, for some reason, it kind of starts like a Marvel movie. Like, it's almost like a superhero thing with Elphaba. Yeah. She's like flying around and like being poverty Batman. Like,
yeah, she's Elphaba Batman. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like a superhero movie for like about 5 minutes in the opening. Real odd choice there.
Yeah, very strange. Also, really interesting final shot that I've been thinking about a lot. I won't give it away. Maybe I'll talk to you about it off the pod. Or if you've seen the movie and you have thoughts, write in, comment, whatever. Like, we can talk about it. Like, but think about the final shot of Wicked Part 2. It's very specific. It's very intentional. Jon M talked about it in an interview, actually, about hiding it from Universal because he thought he'd make them cut it. I don't know. It's just something to it. But either way, Andy, I got to know, would you recommend Wicked for good?
I'd recommend it for the fans. If you're a fan of the original musical, or especially if you saw and liked Wicked Part 1, definitely for you, you're gonna have a good time. It's more about the experience of the movie, less about like the plot and narrative. If you're not a fan of musicals, if you didn't see the first one, probably skip it. If you're a little unsure, maybe wait for streaming. But this is definitely for the fans. It is kid friendly. I saw lots of kids there in costumes. So if you need something over the holidays, it's an option as well.
Yeah, I think it's fine. If you saw the first one and you want to know where it's going, like go check out Wicked for Good. But it really, I think, only works as a sequel. Like if you watched it by itself, you would be confused and not understand what's going on. You would need to watch part one to get into part two. And even then, as a sequel, I don't think it's as good. Like I think the first one's better. I think it echoes the play in that way. Part one seems to be better than part two. I don't know. I'm gonna say Wicked for Good. It's kind low key, kind of a pass. Honestly, it's kind of a pass for me. But if you saw the first one, you liked it. Obviously, go see it. Wrap it up. See it once. Have seen it. Go see it on a big screen if you can. Yeah, Wicked for Good. Dude, we got trailers to talk about. Action-packed episode this week. What do we call this segment, Andy?
It's time for the trailer park. So we got 4 trailers this afternoon. We're going to start off with The Moment.